The orbital station of Aurelia 7 always smelled like recycled air and metal fatigue. But to Eli Rourke, retired human veteran of the frontier wars, it smelled like home. Or at least the closest thing to it. He sat at the edge of the mess hall, hands wrapped around a cheap ration tin of not real eggs, obviously just protein foam shaped like something edible. But after 20 years in the war, Eli had learned to be grateful for anything warm. He lifted the spoon and froze. Across the hall, hunched in the corner, was someone he hadn't noticed before. A dragon woman, shaking, wearing a simple cloak that did nothing to hide the fact that her scales were patchy. Her horns cracked and her tail limp with exhaustion. Her claws were curled around her stomach as though trying to hold the hunger in. Her species, the Drakari, were known for ferocity, wealth, pride. But this woman had none of those things left. She looked like someone who had fallen so far that even gravity was done with her. No one sat with her, no one even looked at her, except Eli. He didn't think about it long. His legs stood on their own. He walked over, placed his tray gently in front of her, and said nothing. Her golden eyes widened. H-human, this is yours. Looks better on your table than mine, Eli said. I do not understand. You don't know me. He shrugged. You look hungry. I've been hungry. That's enough. Her throat tightened. Drakari didn't cry like humans. They exhaled little bursts of heat when overwhelmed. A small puff of steam rose from her nostrils. Thank you, she whispered. Eli nodded, gave a simple smile, and walked away before she felt embarrassed. He didn't even ask her name. She ate slowly, reverently, as if each bite was a treasure, and Eli assumed that was the end of it. He would be wrong. Weeks later, Earl returned to his tiny maintenance job, repairing ventilation panels. It wasn't glorious, but it paid for a bunk and a meal. Barely. One day, while he was elbow deep inside a faulty vent, the station intercom chimed. Eli Rourke. Please report to docking bay 12 immediately. He frowned. That part of the station belonged to rich people, corporate ambassadors, noble houses, the elite. He definitely did not belong there. But when summons call you by name, you answer. He walked into bay 12 and stopped dead in his tracks. 4 tall, imposing figures stood waiting. Dr. Akara, I. Not soldiers, lawyers, each wearing ceremonial sashes, marked with the sigils of dozens of prestigious courts. They were the kind of individuals who could buy half a moon with pocket change. The lead lawyer, a crimson-scaled male with a mane of gold, stepped forward. Are you Eli Rourke? He asked in a deep, formal voice. Yes. The lawyer inclined his head. We represent Lady Serica of the Southern Sky Clan. Eli blinked. Who? You gave her your breakfast. Eli just stared. The lawyer continued. Lady Serica was traveling in disguise after fleeing an abusive political faction. She had lost all her assets, friends, protection, and even her legal identity. She was moments from collapse when you fed her. Eli rubbed the back of his neck. I didn't know all that. I just gave her a meal. And yet, the lawyer said, you did it without hesitation, without judgment, without expectation. Another lawyer stepped forward with a datapad. By Drakari tradition, any gift given to a noble in distress is bound by Arik's law of reciprocity. Eli frowned. Please tell me that doesn't mean I owe taxes. All 4 lawyers exhaled heated air in something like laughter. No, human. It means she owes you. Greatly. Eli raised a hand. Look, I don't want anything, the crimson lawyer interrupted with a very serious tone. This is not optional. Eli swallowed. Oh, The reward he didn't expt they guided him toward a luxury shuttle that made Aurelius 7 look like a and inside her, the dragon woman he'd fed, but now she looked entirely different. Her scales were polished emerald, her horns were repaired, her posture confident, regal even, wearing the deep sapphire robes of high Drakari nobility. Lady Sarah. She smiled as soon as she saw him. Human Eli. He awkwardly saluted. Your ladyship. Please don't, she said warmly. Her voice was no longer weak, but rich and melodic, like molten gold. You gave me your meal when I had nothing, she said, standing gracefully. I had lost my clan, my home, and my protection. Your kindness sustained me long enough for my loyalists to find and restore me. That's good, Eli said, not knowing what else to say. She gestured to the lawyers. And now, according to our oldest laws, I must repay the kindness with something equal in value. Eli held up both hands. Really, that's not neck. She stepped closer, eyes glowing softly. What is the value, she asked, of saving a life? He froze. I didn't, you did, she said gently. You saved me, not with weapons, not with strategy, with compassion, a kind no Drakari would have expected from a warrior species known for fire and fury. Eli chuckled. Humans aren't all fury. I know, she said, smiling with her fangs slightly showing. And that is why I have decided the reward. She snapped her claws. Twice. The lawyers projected a hologram in front of him. Eli's eyes widened. It was a property deed to a house, not a small one, a full-size Drakari sky house on the oasis world of Cindervale, worth more than everything Eli had ever owned in his entire life. No, Eli said immediately. This is too much. No, Sarika responded. It is too little, but it is what the law requires, and more importantly, what I insist. Eli took a step back. I can't possibly. She lifted her tail slightly, a Drakari gesture, meaning stop talking. You gave me food when I was starving. Now I give you a future when you had none. That silenced him, because she wasn't wrong. Eli had been drifting. No family, no home, just jobs, stations, and the silence of a soldier who lived too long after the war. Why me, he whispered. Sarika softened. Because you were kind when no one else was. Because you acted without knowing who I was. That sincerity is rare. Precious. She extended the datapad to him. I would be honored if you accepted this. Eli stared at it. Then, slowly, he took the device. The lawyers bowed deeply, a gesture that no human could easily earn. And Saraka exhaled a warm gust of air, not dangerous, but comforting. A Drakari blessing. Eli Rourke, she said softly, from this day forward, you are under my protection. If you ever need anything, my clan stands behind you. Eli felt something crack inside his chest. Not fear, not obligation, something else. Hope. A new BGIR, a new BGIRANIR. They escorted him to the transport, heading toward his new home. Saraka walked beside him. You know, Eli said awkwardly, I still feel like I didn't do much. She looked at him with a tilt of her head. To you, perhaps, but to me, you did everything. He scratched his head. Well, if you ever need breakfast again, you know where to find me. She laughed a melodic, rumbling sound. Careful, human. I may come visit for that alone. They reached the shuttle ramp. Before he boarded, she spoke again. Eli, he turned. Thank you, she whispered. And something in her tone made him realize this wasn't debt. This wasn't law. This was gratitude from someone who had suffered, alone, and had finally been shown compassion. He nodded. "Take care of yourself, Soraka, and you," she replied. "Enjoy your new life." The shuttle doors closed. For the first time in many years, the human veteran allowed himself to smile, real deep and unguarded. All because he shared a simple breakfast. Epilogue. 3 months later, Rua sat on the balcony of his sky house, sipping real coffee and watching the floating gardens drift through the sunset. A messenger drone landed beside him, dropping off a sealed letter. The emblem was unmistakable. Say RAKHA, single quotes. He opened it. Inside was a message, written in flowing Drakari script. "I am rebuilding my clan. I would like you to serve as my human advisor. If you accept, you will stand at my right hand. It would honor me greatly." Serakali leaned back, stunned. A simple act of kindness had become a destiny he never imagined. He smiled. "Yeah," he whispered. "I think I'll accept." Above him, the sky dragons flew in wide arcs, their wings shining like fire. And somewhere far across the stars, a dragon woman smiled, remembering the human who gave her warmth in her darkest hour. Asterisk.